I was working on a little project here and then realized I wasn't bringing you folks along, and I realized that I was being very selfish. So you could learn from my mistakes. First off, I needed a 12mm Allen wrench and could not find one anywhere. All the sets that I could find end at 10mm. So I found a bolt. 7mm bolt has a 12mm head, and this one, the tolerances of it are not very good. It fits in this 12mm socket very loosely, but it was close, so I thought I'd use it, but realizing the tolerance is off and it's not a hardened bolt, I don't think it would do the job I want to do, which is take the front axle off my Burgman so I can change the front tire. So I decided, well, I'd order one. And then I thought, well, you rummy, you got good tool stock and you've built up a little bit of knowledge. Why don't you make one? So this is where I'm at. Now, the first thing I did was I took this piece of spring steel given to me by one of the good brothers, John, of Park County. And I upset the end here. I upset this end to make it a lot bigger, for those of you that don't know what upset means. And then I forged it into a square because that's, and really, I just forged it into a square to get me close, because a six-sided figure, you can only get two sides parallel. It took me a while to realize what I was doing was wrong. I upset it 3 or 4 times before I realized that I need to quit doing what I was doing. Now, I've been working on this with my sander here, getting it to where it'll fit in this socket with good tolerances. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but I've got it in there. I've got all 6 sides fitting pretty daggone snug. I'd like to get it down to where it goes on there a little bit more. It's tapered, which is on purpose. I wanted to get the end of it close and then work back as I went. So that's what I've done. That's all I've done so far. I upset this. I got it up to critical temperature and put it in my bucket of wood ashes over there to anneal it all day yesterday. And now I'm sanding on it. Now, I've got this sanding belt coated. And I need to find, there it is. I need to find my stuff. Back you up a little bit here. I've got my sanding belt coated with this abrasive belt grease. And I've got to tell you, I'm impressed with this stuff. It's just a regular sanding belt on my belt sander. And I coated it down with this grease, and I got too much on it to begin with, but it, real quick, it comes off. However, when you're sanding with metal, your piece doesn't get hot. I've not had to cool this once, and I've been holding it with these rubber face gloves, which the rubber's about all wore off. And it has not gotten too hot to handle. It's gotten warm, but not too hot to handle. Plus, the belt seems to last long, and there's no sparks hardly whatsoever that comes off of it. So, I'll zoom you back in here a little bit and let you see what I've been doing. Now, what I'm making sure to do is to hold this side where it is vertical so that that side is parallel to it. And I've been holding the tip off of the wheel just a little, or off of the belt just a little bit, because I know the tip is done. I'm just slowly going around. I got off a little bit there. I found out that if I watch the side that I'm sanding on too much, I'll have a tendency to move it. I need to make sure this back side is straight up and down. If I see one side that's a little bit bigger than the others, I skip it. Yeah, let's see where we're at. Oh, that's fitting up on there good. We're in there that far, that's plenty enough. So we're going to stop right there. Now I'm going to heat this up. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There you go. Turn off this sander. Turn off this sander. Back you up a little bit here. I'm going to put this in the forge. I'm going to heat it up. Probably about right back here where my grinding ceases. I'll bend that at a 90-degree angle. Straighten this all out back here. It doesn't have to be that long. I've got kind of got some places there where I beat on it with my cutoff tool while I was straightening out the coil. I think this was a applicator off of an anhydrous wagon, I think. I'll show you the nozzle a little bit later. It's over in the forge. But I'll put a bend in that, beat the daylights out of it to get it flat, and then figure out where I want to cut it off. But I think I've got that head right where I want it. And after I get it all shaped, we'll take it down and put it in the front axle of the Burgman and see how it fits. So we'll put the bend in it. We'll heat it up to critical temperature and harden it. Then we'll clean off some of it and temper it, and we'll see what we end up with. We'll be back. Thought this might be a good place to introduce you to my new shop lights. I bought these at Sam's for $80. They're LED, and I've got to say I really like them. They're of course they're removable, so you can got little stands on the individual lights, so you can use them individually. Got a pigtail cord here, so you can plug them both in together or take them apart. And I fired these up on my little 1 kW Honda suitcase generator, and there wasn't enough pull to bring it off of idle. It would run these lights at an idle. They're 3,000, I think, aluminiums. Yes, they're 1,500 lumens individually, so together they're 3,000. Usage for dry locations, 19 watts, 120 volts. I really like them. I really like them a lot. Biggest thing is you don't have, of course in the wintertime that heat's okay, but biggest thing I like about them is you don't have all the heat that you do off of regular shop lights. So you can stand to work with them on your back. Let's set up this forge, light a fire, and get to work. What do you say? To quote Mr. Heavy Chevy. Hello, this is Mr. Heavy Chevy. Mr. Heavy Chevy here. Oh, that's the other way around, isn't it? Yeah. We'll get to crack-a-lackin'. It's a nice wet day out here.